Welcome to the Unperturbed podcast with your host, Dr. Rhonda Alexander. In this forum, we're going to take a look at the secrets closely held by strong Black women. It is my goal to help us all heal from the things we often hide. Join me as we take a journey to healing, wholeness, and happiness, and a state of mind that I call unperturbed. Hey, it's your girl, Dr. Rhonda, back again for another episode of Unperturbed. This is episode 3, and we've been talking about self-care. My last episode, I was telling you why I thought self-care was so very important, and I asked some questions that I hope sparked some thought in you about why is it that you are so likely or so much more likely to come through for other people than you are for yourself. And when is the last time you held yourself to the same love standard that you hold others? Keeping your promises, coming through, doing special things for you, making sure that the word that is given is kept, right? Promises made, promises kept. We hold other people to those standards, but we have to hold ourselves to those standards as well. I also mentioned that self-care is not earned. It is not a reward. It is something that you must do to take care of yourself. It is important. It is as important as the love that you would receive, maybe even more so from an external source, because nobody should be able to outdo you loving you, right? Nobody should be able to beat you doing that. So today in this episode, I wanted to give you some pointers about how we can engage in self-care. We have to understand the motive of self-care. I mentioned to you that you can't pour from an empty vessel in my last episode. And I think it's really, really important to make a distinction at this point between feeling peaceful and having peace. Because self-care is a part of the peace that comes from engaging in self-care, or the peaceful feelings that come from engaging in self-care, are what refill you to be able to continue doing what it is you do at the level you do it. So the difference between peace and peaceful, in my opinion, take it for what it's worth. But my opinion is that you can be peaceful. That's a transient thing, right? You can see a painting or hear music or be in an area that makes you feel peaceful. It makes you feel quiet and calm. It makes you feel everything just kind of goes from a volume 10 down to maybe, a 2 or a 1. Everything feels peaceful. Peace, however, is a state of mind. It's a state of existence. It's a place that you can dwell, right? There is... You can see people who have peace, but those are the people who can go through tumultuous situations and keep a level head. Because they have a peace on them. They're able to maintain that peaceful feeling throughout various aspects of their lives. And for some of us, that comes from our faith. That comes from trusting in a higher power. For me, as a Christian, it comes from God and being able to trust that He's got this all under control, whatever the problem is or whatever I'm facing. Because I can trust Him, I can be at peace. I can sleep at night. I can rest, and I can focus on the things that matter rather than worrying about the things that don't, or about the things that matter that I can't change. And that in itself gives me peace. It's not a transient feeling. It is a state of mind. And so what I think self-care does, not only does it make us feel peaceful, right? When you go to the spa, you get a massage, nice quiet tones, everybody's talking quiet, hush, hush, and the music is soothing, the touch is soothing, the smells are soothing. That can give you a peaceful feeling, but it doesn't bring you peace, because you can walk out of that spa and pick right up where you left off of worrying and stress and not feeling good and feeling unrest. Right? So things that are peaceful don't necessarily bring you long-term peace. So what brings us long-term peace? What is it about self-care that brings us peace? It is the ability, it is self-care's ability to begin to mend broken pieces. I mentioned in a previous episode that we hide our broken pieces. We hide our shattered places, our fractured places. That's part of the mask that we as strong women carry around and use. We have a hard time sharing that with others. We don't give people access to it, right? Because in their eyes, we're perfect. And in our eyes, we have to live up to that expectation. Help us, Lord. I have a whole episode about perfectionism. But we often hide behind that mask, all of those broken pieces. And what self-care does is it gives us time to investigate where we're broken and to engage in actions and activities that mend those broken places. So self-care can be therapy. Self-care should be therapy, but it's not just, oh, I'm going to do some retail therapy today. I'm feeling a little down. I need some self-care. Girl, I'm going shopping. That's not really self-care. That's making you feel good. It's putting a smile on your face for sure, but it's not self-care in the truest sense, because you can go and spend $9,000 on a bag and still come away feeling like you don't have peace, and still feeling like no one cares, feeling like no one is paying attention to you. And that's because you're not paying attention to you. And so what we have to learn, I think we need a little bit of a shift in our mindset about what self-care really is. So I want to give you some pointers. I think, first of all, when it comes to self-care, you have to be intentional. It doesn't just happen. You will never have time, right? And that's usually our biggest thing. I don't have time for a spa day. I don't have time to take for myself. I never have time for myself. Make the time. Be intentional. Self-care is going to bed at the same time every night and getting 8 hours of sleep if that's what you need. That means if that's important to me, I set an alarm to make that happen. And truth be told, I did that for a while. I set an alarm for 10 o'clock every night. And that was, hey, girl, shut it all down, head to the bed. It's time to do this. Now I have a dog who is my bedtime alarm, because at 9:30, he's like, I'm out. It's time for bed, Mom. Let's go. And we head up to bed. It makes a huge difference in my ability to get up in the morning with a clearer head. But that is something intentional that I had to do to start going to bed at a decent hour and not staying up until 1 or 2 or 3 in the morning just because. So you have to be intentional. You have to plan it, and you have to protect it. Put it on your calendar, block it out so that you can't be booked at the time when you've designated to just sit for 15 minutes and breathe. Or when you've designated time to spend on something that you enjoy. Whatever that is, right? Block that time out. Be intentional and protect that because it's important to you. Another thing that you can do is use this really, really powerful word. It can revolutionize your personal life. And that word is no. That word is no. It is a complete sentence. I am practicing saying no and not giving an explanation as to why I'm saying no. It's the greatest thing ever. I'm absolutely in love with. I just can't do that. And not giving a reason why I can't do it. Because I don't owe you that. Now, some people, if it's something, my mom is asking me to do something, or, a family member or somebody I care about is saying, hey, can you do this? I may say, yeah, I can't because I've got another obligation. But we find ourselves, number one, not saying no when we're asked to take on more responsibility or asked to do things that we don't really want to do. we don't say no, we take it on. But then if we feel like we absolutely have to say no, it comes with because and because and because. It's like you have to convince them that you earned that no. No, sugar. You can say no on GP just because that's what you want to say. And you can say, you know what, I'm just not available. It's not always a harsh no. Some people get the harsh no, but sometimes it's really, in my world, it's I'm not available. I can't. I wish I could. Sometimes I don't lie and say I wish I could because I don't wish I could. But I say, no, I'm not able to do that. Good luck. And move on. No is a complete sentence. No will revolutionize your life. Use it strategically and unapologetically. No, it will change your life. That is self-care. You're creating boundaries. And you don't always have to explain your boundaries. All you need to know is that I'm keeping the junk out and only bringing in that which I can handle or which I want to handle. You become the gatekeeper, not the people who are bombarding you with questions and issues. Self-care is saying no. Write that down on a sticky and put that on your monitor. Or text somebody and tell them. Saying no is self-care. Okay? That's the next one. And then eliminate toxic people, places, and things. Now, I mentioned in a previous, the episode before this one, that can be hard. I really have loved some toxic folks, and it was really, really hard to get them out of my life. But it was imperative because I was losing my mind trying to manage the toxicity that they brought to me and the chaos that they brought to me. But I couldn't seem to pull myself apart from them. And the longer I stayed in those relationships or connected to those people, subliminally, what I was telling myself was, I really don't care about your peace. I really don't care about your heart. I just care that I'm not uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable sometimes is required so that you can get to the place where you are comfortable. So, yeah. Breaking up is hard to do, but sometimes it's required. That is a part of your self-care. Making those hard decisions in your favor is self-care. And you have to see it that way. And you have to tell yourself, we're doing this because I care about you, right? You can say that to yourself. Rhonda, I'm doing this for you. It hurts right now, but I'm doing this for you because I care about you. Say that to yourself more often. Okay. And lastly, let me just say this. You're not a failure because you're saying I need a break. Because you're calling a timeout, there's nothing wrong with you. Absolutely nothing wrong with you. I want you to realize that asking for help when you're overwhelmed is self-care. Bowing out when it's just not a good fit is self-care. Admitting that you need rest and taking the rest without explanation is self-care. It is not a failure. It is not a waste of time. It is self-care. And so we have to value ourselves as much as we require others to value us. If you can't hold yourself to the same standard, then stop telling people how they got to treat you. A real friend will treat you. Well, you know what? Who are you to yourself? Are you that real friend to yourself? And if you're not, then we have some examining to do. We have to go back and make some adjustments. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm going to be talking about self-care all month, and hopefully this will be something that you find beneficial and something that will help you rethink your idea of self-care, redefine what you view as self-care. So that's all for now. I'll see you on my next episode. I'm out. It's your girl, Dr. Rhonda. Be well. So I want to take a quick second to thank our first sponsor, Poddex, at poddex.com. They are the best all-in-one podcast idea generation tool. You get everything from episode ideas to interesting conversation starters for interviews, engaging discussions for your live streams, and even social media content ideas. With this tool, you don't have to spend weeks trying to come up with content for an episode or unique questions for your guests. Just shuffle the cards, pick one at random, hit the record button, and get started. Now you can make better content, have more fun while you're at it, and get your viral moment, all with Poddex. Head over to poddex.com and use my code C4C. Try